March 8, 2014, a date etched into the history of modern aviation, not for a triumph, but for an enigma. In the early hours, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, a state-of-the-art Boeing 777, took off from Kuala Lumpur, bound for Beijing. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew members. Everything seemed perfectly normal. The plane ascended into the night sky, another routine flight among thousands crisscrossing the globe. Then, less than an hour after takeoff, as it was about to enter Vietnamese airspace, the pilots made their last contact with Malaysian air traffic control. The words were calm, routine, "Good night, Malaysian 370." And then, silence. The aircraft's transponder, the device that broadcasts its identity and altitude, went dark. On radar screens, the blip that was MH370 simply vanished. A massive modern airliner with 239 souls on board had disappeared from the face of the Earth. What happened next was one of the largest, most expensive, and most complex search operations in history. Initially, the focus was on the South China Sea, the last known position of the flight. Ships and aircraft from dozens of countries scoured the waters, searching for any sign, any wreckage, any clue. But days turned into weeks, and the vast expanse of ocean offered nothing. The families of the passengers and crew waited in agonizing suspense, their hopes dwindling with each passing day. The world watched, baffled. How could a 200-foot-long jetliner, equipped with sophisticated tracking and communication systems, just disappear without a trace in the 21st century? Then a stunning revelation emerged from military radar data and satellite analysis. It turned out MH370 hadn't simply vanished. After its transponder was switched off, the plane made a sharp, deliberate turn, flying back over the Malaysian peninsula. It continued flying for hours, its path tracked by faint automated pings, or handshakes, between the aircraft and an Inmarsat satellite orbiting high above the Earth. These pings, sent hourly, didn't provide a precise location, but they allowed analysts to calculate two possible flight paths, or arcs, one heading north over Central Asia and another heading south, deep into the remote southern Indian Ocean. The northern arc was eventually ruled out, as it would have required the plane to fly over numerous countries with dense military radar coverage, and no such sightings were reported. This left the southern arc as the only plausible route. The search area had shifted dramatically, moving to a desolate, storm-tossed stretch of water thousands of kilometers southwest of Australia, one of the most isolated places on the planet. This new search zone was immense, covering millions of square kilometers of deep, treacherous ocean floor. For nearly 3 years, specialized vessels equipped with sonar and underwater drones meticulously mapped the seabed, an area nicknamed the Underwater Alps for its rugged terrain of deep canyons and towering ridges. They faced brutal weather and incredible depths, pushing the limits of technology. Yet despite this monumental effort, the main wreckage of MH370 remained elusive. The official search was suspended in January 2017, with the final report concluding that they had likely been searching in the wrong area, albeit an area defined by the best available data at the time. The families were left with no answers, no closure, just a profound and unending sense of loss. But the mystery didn't end there. A few pieces of the puzzle began to wash ashore, carried by ocean currents across vast distances. In July 2015, a piece of an aircraft wing called a flaperon was discovered on Réunion Island off the coast of Africa. It was later confirmed to belong to MH370. Over the following months and years, more than 20 other pieces of debris believed to be from the missing plane were found on the shores of Mozambique, Tanzania, Madagascar, and South Africa. These discoveries proved that the plane did indeed end its journey in the Indian Ocean, but they offered few clues as to why. The debris showed no signs of an explosion or fire, and the condition of the flaperon suggested it was retracted, which could indicate a controlled ditching rather than a chaotic, high-speed impact. But these were just fragments of a much larger, darker picture. The lack of a black box, the flight data and cockpit voice recorders, has left a void that has been filled with countless theories. Was it a catastrophic mechanical failure that incapacitated the crew and the communication systems simultaneously? This seems unlikely given the plane's deliberate turn and continued flight for hours. Was it a hijacking? If so, by whom and for what purpose? No group has ever claimed responsibility and no demands were ever made. The most persistent and scrutinized theory centers on a deliberate act by one of the pilots. Investigators meticulously examined the backgrounds of Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah and First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid, but found no definitive evidence of any motive or distress that would lead to such an act. A flight simulator found at the captain's home contained a plotted course into the southern Indian Ocean, eerily similar to the plane's suspected final flight path, but this alone is not conclusive proof. Other, more speculative theories have also circulated. Some suggest a fire in the cargo hold, perhaps involving a shipment of lithium-ion batteries, could have created toxic fumes that incapacitated everyone on board, leaving the plane to fly on autopilot until it ran out of fuel, the ghost flight scenario. Others have proposed a remote cyber hijacking, a theory for which there is no evidence. Each theory has its proponents and its flaws, and without the main wreckage and the crucial data from the black boxes, they all remain in the realm of speculation. The plane's deviation from its flight path was a deliberate act. The question that haunts us is, who was in control and why did they do it? Today, the disappearance of MH370 remains aviation's greatest unsolved mystery. It's a story of human loss, technological limits, and the enduring power of hope against overwhelming odds. For the families of the 239 people on board, the search for answers continues. Private companies have launched their own searches, driven by new analysis and the belief that technology has advanced enough to finally locate the wreckage. The story of MH370 serves as a stark reminder that even in our hyper-connected world, there are still unknowns, still places where the map is blank. It fundamentally changed aviation safety, leading to new requirements for aircraft tracking over oceanic areas, ensuring that a plane can never simply vanish in the same way again. The ocean holds its secrets tightly, but the quest for truth, for closure for the families, and for the lessons that can be learned from this tragedy will never be abandoned.